All right, folks. Hope you had some fun with those front end routes that we made. Just to recap, we made a simple route where you can click on this sign up link to go to the sign up page. So there's a couple cool little tricks you can do to make your life easier when it comes to all these little routes and things. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to make a 404 not found page if you type in a route that can't be found. So one quick little trick you can do, you may have noticed this little hash in the URL. That's basically saying that any page you go to is really just index.html. Everything in index.html is being swapped out because if you remember, we have this ngView here. So ngView is being swapped out for home, which has the list of meows. It's being swapped out for sign up, which has the sign up form. So that's why you still have the same header even if you go to a different page. So it's just the contents of the page are getting swapped out. And it's just all in index.html. It's called a single page app. Index.html has all the pages just being swapped out. That's why you have a hash and a slash, because really this is the same thing as saying index.html, and then having a hash, which is your browser's way of appending extra data onto that URL. So it's really the same file and some extra data that Angular is reading off from the URL to determine what route you're on. So there's some tricks to make this look a little bit nicer. If you don't like the slash, most websites don't have it. So one thing you can do is in your app config, after you do the route provider routes, you can do, I looked it up, you inject this thing called location provider, and then you can do, $ location provider dot HTML5 mode, and then true. And what this will do, refresh it. Let's try this again. Refresh. Okay, now it's not working. Let's inspect here. What's going on here? There's a console error. No base. Oh, okay. I think I know what this is referring to, but let's just double check. No base. There needs to be a base tag. So in our index.html, there has to be a base tag, and this is what it looks like. Base href equals slash. So let's put that up here. Just put it in your head, right up here. Just one of those things you got to do, and then refresh it, and then you're all set. So now if I go to the sign up page, okay, we still have the hashtag. Let me fix that real quick. We still have we can get rid of all these hashtags now in our routes here. So let's do a little search for hash slash. Okay, there's only one of them, so that's good. And then save it. Okay, let's try that again. Refresh. Sign up. There we go. So now it's just slash sign up. So it looks like a normal website now. It's just a normal website with slash, nice looking URLs, very shareable on Twitter, everything like that. It's all good. So what happens when I type in something like slash and then something that doesn't exist? Right now it goes to this default Express.js message saying it can't find it. What if we go to, okay, so yeah. So what we got to do is first, before we can proceed with making a 404 page, is we have to first tell Express to take anything that it can't find and, well, actually no, but first, before we do that, if I type sign up, remember how we were at slash sign up? It didn't work. If I directly type it, it doesn't work. You can only get to sign up by clicking this link. So let's fix that first, because that's a big problem. If anyone refreshes this page, this slash sign up link won't work. Why does it not work? The reason it doesn't work is because there's no file called sign up. There's no slash sign up route on our server. There's really only our API routes, and then this thing that we added, if you remember, we added this express.static method that automatically makes the slash route point to index.html. That's the only rule it has. There might be some more configurations you can do, but there's nothing that says slash signup should point to signup.html. It doesn't make sense for the backend to define that. That's something that's defined on the front end. So what Express needs to do is whenever it gets something besides slash, and it's not one of these API functions, it needs to redirect to the front end, that same thing you typed, and say, hey, maybe it's a front end route. Maybe you should look for /signup on the front end route list. So there's a piece of code that does that. It's just one of those things that you should just basically copy and paste into every Node Express app that you make. Any means that app that you make should probably have something like this. It is app.get star. It's basically star. This is regex, by the way. Anything that goes in here is called regex, and regex is a way of pattern matching. And if you put a star, it's basically saying pattern match anything that hits this route and didn't hit any of these other routes. Do this. So we have a function rec, just like before, rec res next, and then this thing, and then what you're going to do is return res.redirect, redirect, and then /hash, and then add that onto rec.original URL. You'll see how all this works in a second, but because we added this, if I refresh this now, there we go. We got to our signup page. If you look really closely, when I refresh it, you see the hash for a split second there. That's because the backend is pushing that request, redirecting it to the front end and saying, oh, you should probably put a hash in front of this because it might be a front end route. And then Angular will take that and then figure it out from this thing, from its router, what /signup means. So basically, in recap, just add this location provider HTML5 mode thing, and then add this simple little thing at the bottom of your server, which redirects front end routes. Just those two bits of code, and then you're all set. But we're not done yet. So if we type gibberish here and hit enter, it's still not bringing us to a 404 page or having some sort of error. It's okay, it's blank, it's kind of working, but we should really make a 404 page. So let's do public. We're gonna make a new file, call it I'm gonna save it as 404.html. Again, you can call it anything you want. We're gonna make a route for it. So let's call it make an h1, and let's say whoops, cannot find that page, something like that. So we have a nice little 404 page. Let's confirm that 404.html. Okay, it looks something like this. Again, you would never type that in the URL because that's just for testing. I would never type that in production because really Angular should be swapping it out for the ng view, and I'll show you how to do that right now. So in Angular, in the Angular router, in addition to all these routes, there's another thing besides .when. There's something called .otherwise. So if these routes don't get hit, you can do .otherwise and have it go. What is the code for .otherwise? I have to look it up. Angular otherwise. 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 Okay, redirect. Okay, that's what it is. So you have otherwise, it takes an object, and what you do is you type redirect as the field name and then the page that you want it to go to. So you can have it go to something like /404, and then you make one more route, .when, called /404, and then do what you always do, have a you don't need a controller. All I have to do is just say template URL and then have it say 404.html. So to recap what we just did, I added a new route called /404, and if you type in some gibberish and there's no front end route for that gibberish, Angular is going to say otherwise, redirect to the 404 route, and that's where you're going to see 404.html inserted into the view. So let's try it right now. Blah, 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 enter. Oh, I have to refresh first. Let's try it again. Blah, 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 enter. Okay, that didn't work. Let's see if there's any errors going on here. Console, failed to parse. No, that's okay. Otherwise, let me try 404 to make sure that works. 404. Okay, it should look like that. Let me just make sure why it's not going. Route provider. Otherwise, redirect to. Yeah, that should work. Otherwise, otherwise redirect. Oh, it's redirect to, not redirect. That's what's going on here. Redirect to. There we go. Save that. Refresh. And there we go. 404 page not found. So just to recap, here's my website. I can go to different routes, sign up. It looks very nice now. It's just simply a slash. And if I want to type something like slash bad URL, enter, it'll redirect to slash 404. And you have this nice 404 message. And you can have some fun with that. So that's just a little bit more on front end routing and just the extra code you need to get your app ready to go live and be well suited for the internet. Enjoy.